G'day guys and girls, and welcome. Today you're joining me at Sydney Motorsport Park and we're going to do a track day. So there's going to be a few videos coming out of today. The first one I'll do a bit of an intro and it'll be session 1. Out on track now is race cars and advanced road cars, so that's why it's noisy. There's some Porsche GT cars going around and all sorts of modified race cars. There was an Ultima GTR that just left as we were coming in, so that's the sort of car that's been out on track today. We're in the beginner and intermediate group, so we're in the afternoon. Don't know if you can really see what's coming up, but yeah, this is my third time at Sydney Motorsport Park. My wife's going to be doing a couple of the sessions as well, so she'll be driving. But yeah, this is the fastest layout of the track. They've got various layouts. They've got a south circuit, which is probably more suited to the little Fiestas. They've got the Brabham circuit, which is the entire track, which I've done in one of my previous track days with the HR31 Skyline. And that's a really good track because it's got the fast straights, but it's also got the back twisty bit that they added on. There's the GP circuit, which you can see on the V8 supercars, and this is the North, or otherwise known as the Druitt circuit. It's really the long straight, a really fast turn 1, a hairpin at turn 2, and then turns 3 and 4 and even 5 are quite fast, and then a couple of tight switchback chicanes before you come back onto the main straight again. The car's pretty much ready. I did all my checks yesterday. Coolant's nice and full. The brake fluid's fine. There were no drips anywhere from changing the brakes last week. The fluid was still at max, so that's always a good sign. I gave it a clean, taken all the loose items out. Temperature today's going to be about 22 in the shade. As you can see, it's a nice sunny day. Doesn't get much better than this for a track day, does it? So there'll probably be quite a bit of heat in the track as well. I've got a digital tyre pressure monitor, tyre pressure gauge. So I'll be checking the pressures at the end of each session, and aiming for around 30 psi in the front, maybe a little bit less in the back. We've got a little bit of time. I'm going to go and watch these things fly around. Registration's at 11:15, up there somewhere. Driver's briefing at 12:15, and then the first session from 12:30. So we're probably going to have something to eat as well before we start. Go to the toilet a few times. Always get nervous before a track day, but I've never done a track day in anything this new, so it should be fine. But yeah, I'm going to go watch for a bit. Cheers. So this is the Sydney Motorsport Park layout. The track we're doing today is the straight, turn 1, turn 2 hairpin, 3, and then we're going across here and then down. So as you can see, it's a fast track. We're likely going to be the slowest car on track, to be honest, because there'll be a lot of like BMs and Audis and Mercs and V8 Commodores and Falcons and stuff, probably some Turbo Falcons. Yeah, I don't see any cars being slower than us today, especially on this layout. The south circuit is this one here, so you get the idea. So that's probably the one that's most suited to the Fiesta. This one now is the GP circuit that just goes straight down there and then across, and the Brabham circuit, which I've done before, goes all the way around and goes around this little bit too. So that's the circuit that I did in the Skyline. There's a video way down if you want to watch that. But yeah, today we're doing the fastest layout of the track, and yeah, I'm expecting to get overtaken a lot, but hopefully we get an idea of what the car's capable of in some of the turns that there are there.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, I'll try and keep this speed if I can, maybe a fracco faster, but it's really important to try and, even if I'm down at turn 2 and some of you are still back at turn 1, just try and concentrate and look far ahead and look to where I'm placing the car. It's very important, especially at Sydney Motorsport Park. Long loaded corners, different surfaces and off-cambered exits. It isn't the easiest circuit to get a reasonable lap time out of, and I know a lot of you aren't here for that, but to try to maximise the day and learn as much as you can, best thing to be doing to start with is really concentrating on where I position the car. So this is a really tricky one down here. Now we're actually on race line and we're approaching it in the normal spot. It's a double apex, so you can actually shave off some speed and sort of shortcut the track by coming in narrow here, still letting the car flow out, start to turn the car in, and then we're aiming our eyes up and over to where that blue cone is. And now I've got the car nice and straight as I exit turn number 2. Now it's not easy to do, but that's sort of the aim of the game down there at turn number 2. So once again, the camber and the grip level is in nice and narrow here. You can see there's a lot more black area right down close to that blue cone that we call the clipping point, and then exit out here over to the left. Now don't think you get to stay here for all that long. As you come up over the rise, you want to slowly head the car down over to the right hand side of the track. Once again, braking in a straight line, and the flip-flop unweights the car through here quite easily. So just be nice and patient as you turn the car in, nice and smooth on the throttle. Especially over here, people really quickly change the angle of the steering wheel to the right here, and then get on the gas quite early as the rear of the car is still unweighted over the rise here. So I know there's a bit of a back straight here, so it encourages you to get on the throttle, but still just be patient as the car comes up over that rise, and as I've done here, use the road out on the left. For example, if you were to get out of the car and run 60 metres or to run 80 metres, you're going to run 60 metres faster. So the aim of this is to shortcut the circuit, start wide and then cut down narrow into the corner, which basically makes for the fastest route that you can possibly do in terms of this circuit. So once again, you're starting over to the right where this clipping point cone is, or we call the apex, and then start heading down in close to this blue cone. Same again, once you meet that marker, the quicker you can get to full throttle is the quicker you can open up the steering wheel, which is why we head out here to the right. Back down into the apex, or we call the middle part of the corner, looking through. Really try and keep your vision, your eyes through the corner. Now, because we're heading back into the pits, don't worry about blinkers, don't worry about pointing, but if you are coming back into the pits, just stay to the left the whole way around that corner and stay narrow as you're coming down here. I don't want you to use all the road out on the exit and then cut back across to enter the pits. If you know you are going to enter the pits, just try and slow it down early. Now you can see the lights hanging over the front straight, and right down where the flag box is. Just pay attention there. Just have a little glance if you can, more often than you think. Whether you see a blue flag, a meatball flag, or a red flag even, just to indicate where we're at in the session.
Alright guys, we're going out on my second session. I did a cider session first. I've got a Mark 7 Golf GTI behind me, an Audi RS3 in front of me, and a BMW 1M up there.
Yep, yeah.
Alright, let's go. Already cruising up to 110. Easy on the brakes. brakes again. It's only the first lap. Let this guy around me. Alright. Cruising at 140 kilometers an hour now, 150, just getting some heat in, and this lap will go. getting up to about 180, 190 down the straight. Slow down to 160 for turn 1. Stay in the middle a bit. Turn it in. Boot it. Feed out. This is the corner I always struggle with. It's like a double apex. Short shift in a 4th. Boot it behind the 5.7 litre V8 Commodore. Cut in. Boot it early. 3rd gear. Yep. 5.7 litre. Just got the Lex on a little 1.6. Not got the turn. So he'll go hard down the straight. He's holding me up. Got a fast Golf R coming up behind me too. Let the Golf R by. He's going to be way quicker than me. Have a bit of a cooling run down the straight, I think. These brakes have held up great. Forza FP3 pads, DBA discs, the T3 4000 series discs, the HEL braided brake lines, and the RBF 600 brake fluid from Motul. Open track now, got nothing behind me for ages, nothing in front. That's better. BMW M135i. Yeah, that's an AMG A45. Not catching that. And we've got a red flag. Bloody hell, it's warm. And that's it. So the Golf R, the A45 AMG with a four-wheel drive grip, got no chance. 5.7 litre Commodore. Thanks for coming. It's good. Can't believe it's only a 1.6 litre, keeping up with cars like that and just throwing it in and out of corners. It's just absolutely brilliant. Now, like I was saying, I don't know if you could hear me, but these brakes, Forza FP3 brake pads, Motul RBF 600 fluid, DBA T3 4000 series groove discs, and the HEL brake lines. They're just holding up an absolute gem. Just so much confidence, so much consistency putting your foot down. Even turn 4A, where you're coming down the hill before a quick left and right chicane, no worries. Alright, I'll leave the session there. So there you have it. That was the second session of my first ever track day in the Fiesta ST, and just to say how impressed I am with that car, and how quick it was and what kind of cars it kept up with. Bit of an understatement. It was friggin' awesome for a little 1.6 litre hatchback. Yeah, keeping up with cars 2-3 times its price bracket. I'm not going to say that my car, the Fiesta, is as quick as those cars, but me driving my car on that day with other people driving their car, that you saw how good it was in the track. Again, that's the fastest layout of the Sydney Motorsport Park, the North Circuit. So it's the one with the most straights, the longest straights, the least amount of bends. And yeah, I was really expecting to get overtaken by everything. Knowing what kind of cars usually go on those track days, you've got like your Audis, your Golfs, Mercedes, lots of high-powered V8 cars and whatnot. So yeah, I was pretty impressed. If you're not familiar with the car, it's basically a standard car. It's got the Mountune MP215 upgrade, which was done by Ford when I bought it new, and it's got Oz Racing wheels and Pirelli P0 Nero GT tyres, which are probably comparable to the standard RE050A, the Bridgestones. They're not exactly an upgrade, but they're a fine like replacement tyre. So they held up pretty good in the first few sessions. We'll get to them in the next video. So I used Race Chrono. I used the free version of their app, which is pretty bloody good. It's got over 2,000 tracks preloaded into it. It's got all layouts of the Sydney Motorsport Park, so on the North circuit. In my first session that I didn't record, my times varied from a minute 28 down to my best time of a minute 25.52. This isn't official timing or anything, this is just on the app. Sydney Motorsport Park don't really allow timing, so this was just locked away in the centre console. There was a couple of laps there, a minute 34, I think I did a cool down lap, a minute 31 after the quick lap. Yeah, there were a few times where I could just feel the car just wasn't putting out the same power, so I just did like a cool down lap, especially down that long straight, just chuck it in 6th at 140 and no load. Max speed, the fastest I got to on those laps was 186.2 kilometers an hour. So that's not too bad for a little car. That was in 5th gear. But yeah, pretty good. On the second session, which you guys just saw, so 125.52 was my best on the first one. 125.59 was my best on that run that you guys just watched. And my fastest speed down the straight for that one was 187.5. The best thing about that session is the laps were a bit more consistent. So there was one 128, but the rest of them were like mid 126s, a 127, and then that 125. So pretty consistent little car. Standard suspension, standard exhaust, standard intercooler. Literally just that mount-tune airbox, their air filter, the MP215 remap, and wheels and tyres. Pretty much it. So yeah, it's not a bad starting point, and looking forward to some more track days. I don't think I can make too much of a habit of it, especially the way that the tyres went at the end of the day. But the brakes were bloody awesome. They held up really well. I'll talk more about them in the next video. So there is another session coming, so I'll keep this video short here, and I'll talk more about the brakes and what happened with the tyres in the next session. And I'm also going to upload my wife's sessions as well. She did 2 sessions. She had a bit more mechanical sympathy than me, but still she was out there having fun. She loved it, so all good. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and hope to see you come back for the next one as well.